once you got the diagnosis, it was just hit the ground.
It was just moving forward because they knew that it was a bad situation she was in.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. I am really glad you're here because today's video is like no other video I've ever made. If you're here for the usual tractors, outdoor content, that's not what this is about, but this is super exciting. And I'm so happy to be down here in Tennessee with my sister, with Rachel, and with her dad, Dan. Her mom, Melissa, said she's camera shy, but you guys you've heard about Rachel's journey with cancer. We've talked about it on the live stream quite a bit, and you're always asking, how's Rachel doing? I talked to Rachel, and she said she would be happy to appear with us and give a little bit of an update. So I'm going to ask Dan some questions because, well, of course, Dan, you've been through the whole journey, but, and then Lois as not only a grandmother, but a nurse. Like, how helpful is that to have a mother-in-law who's a nurse?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was very helpful.
So Rachel just turned 15. Happy birthday, Rachel. And this goes back to when Rachel first turned 13, right, Dan?
Yes. Yep. Been a couple years since, so.
A couple years, and it's been quite a journey, right?
It's been a journey, been a roller coaster for sure. A lot of ups and downs with this whole progress that we've been on, so.
So tell us what the original, like how this started, what the diagnosis was, and we won't, you know, this could be a long video if we go too far, I guess, but if we can kind of recap.
Pretty much originally, we started noticing that her athletic skills, different things, she wasn't focusing as she used to. She had a lot of stomach issues, headaches all the time was a big one. You know, with her going through her teen years, we just kind of brushed it off in a way, thinking, you know, it was just teenagers going through that stage of life.
Clumsy teenager.
Yeah, clumsy teenager going through the stage of life, and it was just something we kind of brushed off. But then it started being more where she had a lot of acid reflux. She major headaches constantly all the time. Been to several doctors prescribing different things for the acid reflux and headaches. Just a lot of, you know, just different things. And then I think the main one that stuck out to my wife was when she stumbled into her.
She started falling more, yeah.
And that got her pretty good. But then after that, my wife told her to the emergency room to do a CAT scan. And that's how they found it, a big old brain tumor.
Wow. And do you remember the name of what that?
Medulloblastoma.
Medulloblastoma.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the course of action from that point?
So we went to Vanderbilt that night. We went up there. They did another CT scan with their brain surgeons up there. And then pretty much it was not the next day, but the following. She went to surgery, 9 hours on a table.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, 9 hours. They got everything out. And then she was in ICU for a good three weeks after that, I believe. And then after that, we talked to the oncologist team. They suggested that we had to go to Cincinnati for 3 months with her so she can do proton radiation. And that was another journey that we had to go on because we live in the state of Tennessee. So that was a good hike for us to go back and forth with 5 kids. And
I was going to say 4 more kids.
Yeah, we got 5 kids all together. Yeah, so we were back and forth. Me and my wife just tag teaming. You know, pretty much she would drive up, we would high five in a parking lot, and I'd go back and be with the kids.
Yeah, and not only the challenges of treatment, but after the surgery, Rachel, you lost your really ability to speak and to walk, and that's been, I know you've gone through a lot of treatment up to this point, but I think you're finished with treatments?
Yeah, we finished, it's been over a year now. She's cancer-free. We've been going through several x-rays. Now we're on every 6 months, I believe, that we're doing now. So we've progressed with that, so we're not as vigorous with the x-rays looking at her. But everything's coming back all positive. So now it's just getting her to being able to walk again. is the biggest challenge right now because of so much that was going on.
Yeah, yeah. But your speech has come back, and we get to talk sometimes.
Yeah, there for a while we were very nervous because, you know, after surgery, you know, it was a long surgery, and we weren't really sure. She had, you know, because of the pressure on her brain and things like that, you know, she had the EVV tube or whatever coming out of the back, you know, for the pressure and everything else,
Drainage, yeah.
the drainage.
Yeah, so she had a second surgery.
She
not
had a,
long
yep, after that,
that.
you know, she actually had 2 brain surgeries. The first one was to remove the medulloblastoma. The other one was actually, they noticed that the fluid was not draining still properly, so they had to go back in again and actually open up to make that brain fluid flow properly. And that's what kind of set us back a little bit more with her, what we believe, with all her therapies and things like that, because she was pretty much a vegetable, you know, for a good 2 months, you know, not being able to talk, not being able to move.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
And
it
this was
a journey.
serious. This wasn't
Oh,
like
yeah.
this wasn't like, all right, we're going to do this routine surgery. This was a lot of unknown. And,
Yeah, I mean,
lot of unknown.
yeah, it was very a vigorous type of brain tumor that, you know, unfortunately, what they told us, you know, is very common in children.
Wow.
But you know, it wouldn't have been the tumor. They said, you know, that wouldn't have killed her. It would have been, you know, all the side effects from it.
Right.
Basically, you know, the brain not functioning properly, swelling. She would have had an aneurysm pretty much, and you know, she could have went a different way if, you know, if it wasn't for her mom being, you know, very vigorous with the emergency people telling them to do a CAT scan.
Yeah.
And actually finding it.
You have to be your own best advocate.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Nobody knows your body and your children more than yourself.
That's
So
what was frustrating, because it's going to the doctor so many times,
Yeah.
and she was so sick.
Yeah.
They couldn't do anything.
It was about
And
6 months going back and forth to
Yeah,
the
a
doctors.
long time.
Yeah, long time, you know, misdiagnosing. I mean, I know that they were trying to do what they could, you know, but nobody really ordered the CAT scan at that time.
Right.
And then it was, you know, a mother's instinct to say, there's something wrong. You need to do something further than what you've been doing.
Yeah.
And that's how they caught it. And it was just pretty much at that point, it was, you got to do surgery is the only way to get it out.
Yeah.
You know, it's always, it was always about the what ifs, that me and her mom always go through. You know, what if we caught it earlier? You know, what if we did this?
Well, yeah.
You know, always question this and that, but I mean, you never know. So
Right.
it's just how it went for
On
us.
the other side of that, what if you didn't catch it? As when you did, right?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just-
I talked to my wife, about it, and I'm thankful for the technology that we have today, just because how they can go and diagnose and treat and kind of do what they can. Because if it was a different time, we wouldn't have been here talking with her.
Yeah, yeah. And today, now I was here a year ago to visit.
Yeah.
And Rachel, you were in a like a 3-wheeled chair. You guys were, or maybe it was a different
It was just a
wheelchair than this.
wheelchair.
Was it just that?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the other day when I got here, you guys came walking up the sidewalk, arm in arm,
Yeah.
with Rachel in the middle, taking steps.
Yep. Yep.
I think
A lot of therapy that we've had her go through, to get where we're at today. Definitely has accomplished a lot. It's a slow process, it really
Yeah.
is. It's just, it's her timing, that we have to go with, and just get her back to where we can get her moving again.
What do you think, Rachel? Do you have anything to say? You thinking about anything? No.
I want a few words.
And I'm so happy too, Lois, to have that her grandmother's right here. You guys
Yeah.
live close by, and again with your 5 kids, and had to be.
It would have been a very big struggle, with me working all the time, and then my wife watching the kids, but then us back and forth and everything. It was, we were very blessed to have her parents here to help out with a lot of what we went through.
What do you think? Any thoughts? Anything that?
Well, she already knows she's my hero, right? Yes, she's been through, I mean, it wasn't just coming off the operation table. She had the NG tube for feeding. She had a catheter. She couldn't urinate on her own. She couldn't feed herself afterwards, and it was a struggle, but she's strong, very strong.
Yep.
And she has MRIs all the time, and I had to have one, and I was scared, and I said, okay, Rachel can do it, I can do it.
See that?
And we did. We got through it.
Yep. we all
Strong.
were there together and pretty much, you know, rode it out together, you know, as you should as a family, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
today she even drove the four-wheeler. You
Yep.
saw that.
that's right. She was
Yeah.
riding
She
the
was
four-wheel
driving.
first
Yeah, she was-
time, right?
So,
She was out cruising around in the field, you know,
Yep.
very excited to do that, you know.
So this is exciting again because again, so many people have asked about Rachel because they hear us talk about it in the live stream, and you have a lot of people who have prayed for you and supported you in any way they could. So it's been really great. And I just want to ask you, Dan, if anybody else is going through this type of struggle, whether it's the same type of thing or, you know, when one of your children gets sick, it's tough. Like, any words of encouragement that you can share that?
I mean, for us, you know, it's just a lot of faith, you know, like that he has a will for us, you know, for her. We always ask why. You're never going to know.
No.
But it's always about, you know, meeting other people. I think, you know, ever since she's been through that journey, I've met so many other people that have been through something like that, so I can relate on a different level. Because you meet people sometimes, you know, that's been through cancer, and you see them that right then and there, but now you've seen the behind the screen, you know, behind the curtain, what they've actually went through. So it just, yeah, I think it's, you know, it's meant for a reason. You know, maybe it's her to help another down the road.
That's for sure. And it certainly exposed you to a world that you never
Oh yeah,
expected. Or
yeah. It was, you know, an eye-opening experience just to see, you know, what everyone has to go through that's been through something like that. Really has.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster for anybody, you know, and
There's
you
a
know,
lot.
and it's a lot to it for a lot of people that you don't really see. You know, you see them right then and there, but you don't really see the trauma that they went through.
Yeah.
You know, the surgeries, the doctor visits, you know, everything, you know, back and forth. I mean, we were 3 times a week going to doctors, you know, MRIs every week, you know, and then we finally progressed to like 1 MRI every 2 weeks, you know, and then 1 MRI every 3, then a month, and then every 2 months. And then, you know, now we're on pretty much at the end of the journey where, you know, every once in a while she'll have one, but having a good oncologist team and everyone there at Vanderbilt was, you know, a blessing for us.
Yeah.
Really, you know, just to kind of help get us through that.
And you mentioned it earlier, but I just want to mention that you have the best family here, and so many brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, and uncles, and it'd be fun to name them all because they're going to watch this, but it's so many of them, and it's just so fun to see everybody gathered around and playing and just doing everything that a family would do. So,
yeah.
tell me about Rachel the person. Tell me about Rachel's attitude.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, ever since it, you know, she, upbeat, never really just kind of sat in a room and cried about the whole situation. She's always been moving forward with it, you know, always wanted to be independent with everything. I think once she started being more mobile is really when you could see a big difference in her. Once we got past that whole stage of kind of just laying around and healing from it all, now she can pretty much stand leaning against something. She wants, you know, to do stuff.
She did dishes the other night.
She did dishes
right?
the other night, finally, you know, after a couple
Yay.
years. So the younger ones were all excited because she gets back on a dish night. So
It's Rachel's night for dishes.
yep, exactly.
Aw,
So
they didn't give you a whole
yeah.
night, did they?
We gave her a light duty, you know,
Yeah.
so it's just
Did that.
getting her back into everything as, you know, used to be pretty much. But yeah, her personality's always been upbeat with it, and that's a real blessing that we've had as a family.
Yeah, great attitude.
Great attitude all the time.
So Rachel, you do the work, huh? Whatever it takes, you do the work.
Yep.
Yeah, she does a lot of, you know, physical therapies and things like that to get her through. You know, so it's just now we can see a lot of progress from where we were, because they literally had to have her on a gurney that, you know, 4 people had to pick up to move her because, you know, couldn't move, couldn't walk, couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So it was to see where she was, you know, after surgery till now. Yeah, it's a long journey, but it's just an eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
You know, just seeing someone go from where they were to now is definitely.
Rachel, do you remember that time Can you remember being in the hospital and
Some of it.
some of the time?
Yeah. It was a lot of stuff going on, you know, by the time they got her out in ICU, and
It was quick.
it was very
It was
quick,
quick to
yeah,
get her in
yeah,
there.
to get her in and out. But
Like
yeah.
once you got the diagnosis, it was just hit
Oh,
the ground and
it was just moving forward because they knew that it was a bad situation she was in,
Yeah.
just because of the brain wasn't functioning, you know, properly, the fluids weren't flowing properly, and it, you know, like I said, the side effects is what would have happened to her.
and again, given the diagnosis, Rachel's doing really well with this.
Yes, she is.
She's
Yeah.
exceptionally well.
Yeah,
Yes.
yep. And even the oncologist teams were excited to see kind of her progression, where she's at,
Yeah.
and how she's moving forward with everything, you know.
Yeah. It pays to be stubborn sometimes,
Yeah.
right? Like you're going to work through this thing.
That's right.
Yeah, been very blessed with the whole thing.
And she doesn't go to, you know, regular school yet, but she's
Yep.
doing her schoolwork at home on the
Yep.
computer, right?
Homeschooling her, you know, for the
She's
time
doing good
being,
with
so
that.
getting her through all of that so she doesn't fall behind.
And I think some art too you like to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good artist.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, before, you know, it's kind of funny because the occupational therapist, you know, they would draw on the board, kind of see where she was at, and it'd be like a doodle, you know, it'd just be like somebody first time drawing, it'd be all scribbles, writing her name, and then now she's back to drawing pictures, coloring, painting her nails, you know, doing all the things that teenagers do again. You know, it's pretty exciting just to see all that kind of just start flowing back into her and going forward, you know.
Her vision is still not really great.
It's
is
not
it?
100%, yeah.
What do you have right now? It's double vision or just?
It's like kind of double, but the second one is kind of faded out.
Kind
Yeah.
of blurry on one side, but two.
Yeah.
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 So she just had surgery. How
Yeah.
long ago was that, Dan?
That's been a couple months ago that we
On
went
her
through that.
eyes.
Yeah, on her eyes, just trying to help to correct, because with the surgery there was so much pressure that it kind of made her vision, you know, not as well as it should be. So they were trying to correct her muscles on her eyes and stuff like that to try to get back because of the trauma that was on the brain
Yeah.
from the surgery and stuff. So,
So Rachel, are there two of me? Do you have two Uncle Eddies?
We always ask her that.
yeah. It used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
She had
it's
double vision
better.
for a
Twice
while.
as much
yeah.
family for a while
Exactly,
there.
yeah. Twice as much pappy, yeah.
We always tease her.
So.
Yep.
But yeah, it's, you know, it's a journey for sure.
How can you see far away and up close? You don't use glasses or anything?
I can see like a little bit farther out, but when they're this close, about where you are, I can see clearly.
Yeah, more when everything's closer up to
Yeah.
her, she can
Yeah,
see
better
more,
vision.
better vision, yeah, than farther out.
Right.
So hopefully with the next doctor's visit at the eye exam, we can kind of see if we can correct that.
But not using any corrective lenses or anything.
Not yet, yeah, and that's probably be the next step, hopefully, is to get her some type of prescription glasses, just to kind of correct that.
We're not in her body, so we don't really
Yeah.
know everything she has going on.
Yep.
But to have the vision problem and
Yep.
coordination and things, she has just
Yeah.
worked through it all
Just-
and become so strong.
Yep. Just another milestone, just
Yep.
keep on going forward with it, and big stepping stones that we're getting through, so. But
She's doing it. She's doing
yeah,
it.
Proud of
just
her.
just getting it, yeah. Yeah. But it's eye opening, you know, it really is, just to see all the behind scenes and just everything. It just, you know, like I always said, you know, we always ask why, but I think it's that we can relate with other people, you know, on a special level, basically,
Yeah.
that somebody has been through that. You
Yeah.
know, just say, hey, you know, this is what happened to us, and then other people start sharing what happened to them, and then you have similar instances.
And I'm sure you had that along the way, encouragement
I
from
have,
other
yeah.
parents, and
Yeah.
now you're at that stage
Yeah,
where you can help other
exactly.
people.
You know,
and-
it's like, hey, yeah, we've been through that. You know, we know exactly what you're going through, the struggles. You know, it's not only emotionally struggle, but financially. You know,
Right.
it's rough on the back end. You know, that's what a lot of people don't. It turns your life upside down. Really does.
Well, like you said, the travel out there, leaving your home, leaving
the kids.
leaving the
I
kids,
had to leave the kids, yeah.
leaving your job, your business. You had to.
I had to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I tried, you know, being the hard guy and keep working and stuff like that. But then I realized when I was at work, you know, I was focusing on her and like not focusing on what I needed to do. So I had to just tell my boss, you know, I got to take off.
Yeah.
And that was 6 months. Took off work for 6 months and just left. I mean, just had to, gave it up and said, you know, it is what it is, and we'll get through it and move on, because we had a great family support back home that I could do that, and everyone else that knew what the situation that we were going through.
Yeah. And that is fortunate, because a lot of families don't have that
No, they
kind of
don't.
support.
Yeah, and then, you know, it's like you feel for them, because you know exactly, you know, you're living, you know, I lived at the hospital with her for almost 6 months, you know, and then you're sleeping on that uncomfortable couch. I slept in a recliner next to her every night, you know, because it's just, you had to be there because she couldn't talk. You were her advocate the whole time,
And
talking for her.
He was quite the advocate, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
He
I mean,
did awesome.
it was a lot of situations, you know. I mean, everybody, you know, when you're at a hospital, you know, there's learning students there, and there's a lot of things, you know, but with a teenage daughter there, you know, that can't talk, you're standing up for her and making sure things are done right.
Yeah.
You know, making sure things are what they need to be, and when they're not, I was letting them know that, hey, you're not doing what you need to do, and you need to do something different. It was frustrating as a parent, it really was. So I did have to sit down with and just express as a father, you know, to be there for her, to be her advocate. You know, it was miserable a couple times, but you know, I had to make my voice known to them, like, you need to do something differently, you know, because you got, you know, a critical situation like she was in, is, you know, a special care team, you know, but you know, we got through it though. We did, you know. Might have stepped on a lot of feet on the way, but it was stuff that had to be done.
Yeah. And it had to be challenging for you, because you were staying there. You were uncomfortable, I'm sure, sleeping there.
Yeah.
And you probably thought, how dare I complain about anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, I don't want to be that complainer type of person, but when something that was affecting my daughter was not right, I was going to let it be known, you know. I mean, I didn't want to be the guy in the room, but, you know, I was, you know, I had to be, you know, to make things right.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for spending time and sharing. You know, I love you guys.
Yeah, anytime.
And you are so loved. I love you. And I just want to thank you guys for watching today. Rachel, love you, man. All right. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. As always, I look forward to seeing you next time.
When you see the road from every direction, it will give you eyes, give you hope, it'll give you perspective. I've been back and forth, and yeah, I had my crashes. Now I've seen the road, it goes every direction. Oh, there are stories to tell, the times we grew and the times we fell. Oh, I've been afraid some days, but the road will lead us to a better place. Road will lead us to a better place. Stories to tell, times we grew and the times we fell. Ooh, I've been afraid some days, and the road will lead us to a better place.